When first starting my fitness journey, I saw it as a path that would then take me to a destination. However, what I've grown to realize is that there really is no end destination. Instead of viewing fitness as a path with an end, I now see it as a journey with endless avenues and turns. A big thing that stopped me from reaching my goals or even trying to for such a long time was the fact that I was setting limits on myself before actually trying. By telling myself I could never lift a certain weight, perform a certain exercise, or even grow a certain muscle, I was already setting myself up to fail in my journey. The greatest transformation you can ever make is actually in your mindset. Try to view fitness in a different way. Switch I have to with I get to, and you will enjoy your journey so much more. Remind yourself that exercise is a privilege and we get to move our bodies. Remember that you absolutely can do anything you set your mind to as long as you're patient enough to do the work that it takes to get there. With that, remember that you will fail. Fitness journeys are not perfect, and failure and ruts are inevitable, but these help to build your mental strength and always allow there to be something new to work towards. Every single person's path and journey is going to look different. Be proud of yourself and love yourself through every phase as you work towards where you want to be and who you want to become. As I look back at beginner Megan, I'm so proud of her and thankful that she didn't give up because I wouldn't be where I am now without her. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, hello and welcome. You picked the perfect video to be introduced to my channel and be introduced to me because this video is the most requested video I think I've had on this channel yet. It's going to be all about my fitness journey, just kind of how I got into fitness, how I got here. It's gonna be very fun to chat you guys through all the different phases of my fitness journey and also for me to look back at those phases. A year ago, 3 years ago, I would have never thought that I would have made an Instagram page public and put my life out there and put my journey out there for people to see, and I never would have thought that so many people would support me in that journey and also learn so much from me. So I'm super thankful that I kind of took the leap and did that because I would not be filming this if it weren't for that. Before starting my lifting journey, basically from my childhood to college, I played soccer my entire life. So I did travel soccer, and then in high school I would also play high school soccer, and then in middle school to high school, some of high school, I also did something called ODP. Obviously that's very different from weightlifting. So I was a midfielder, I ran a ton, I was super in shape when it comes to cardio and stuff like that. I think it was my junior year of high school, I tore my ACL, ended up needing surgery, which meant no soccer. I had a post-operation journey of 12 months of recovery, which is very intense and very frustrating. So I had my surgery, and then I immediately went into physical therapy. I started to be introduced to the weightlifting world a little teeny bit. So we would do some weighted things like the quad extension machine, the curl machine. We would do some forms of step-ups and stuff, but obviously it was more functional based. So I kind of got a little taste of lifting exercises, and I kind of started to learn the importance of those movements for protection of your joints and making sure that your surrounding muscles are strong so that you don't tear things. I did things inside and outside of PT. Once I was allowed to go to the gym, I would go to the gym, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I would just do what I knew of. So I would do a lot of banded glute activation and 20-step ab routines. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was doing something, and that's all that mattered to me. I would do that in conjunction with my PT stuff, and I did that basically the whole year that I was off of soccer, which was hard to not be playing something that you've played your whole life and all your friends are still playing and stuff like that. But I think it was also eye-opening to the privilege that exercise is, to be healthy and to be able to move your body and go do the things that you want to do. The biggest thing that changed my mindset with fitness was being injured and realizing how much power it holds to be healthy enough to go and do the things that we want to do and not take it for granted. That was a big mindset shift that I had. After physical therapy, I graduated physical therapy. I immediately went into a program called Return to Sport because soccer is a contact sport. It's not like what you learn in physical therapy is enough to get you right back into playing like contact travel. So I went to this Return to Sport program. This is really where I was actually lifting weights, and it was really intimidating and hard. It was like a mixture, like a hybrid weightlifting with power and agility, obviously to get you ready to go back into playing a sport. And I really realized that I liked the lifting weights part. I liked the challenge of it. I thought it was fun, and I definitely was noticing my muscle come back. I was noticing my strength come back, which was very crazy because when you have surgery, your leg, all the muscle goes away. Your leg shrinks. You have nothing. To see it kind of come back and feel myself get stronger was a really great feeling, and it kind of is what inspired me a little bit to be like, okay, this weightlifting thing isn't that bad. I kind of like it. But I still obviously had negative thoughts of weightlifting. Like, I didn't want to do upper body, and I didn't want to look bulky, and I had all those misinformed mindsets still, but I did have interest in weightlifting. I knew I wasn't going to play soccer after I graduated, not even in a intramural setting. Like, I just was burnt out, honestly. I knew that I wanted to go to a big university, which I did, and I wanted to focus a lot on academics, and soccer just was not gonna fit in that anymore. So I got to close out that chapter of my life, which I'm very thankful that I recovered in time to be able to do that, but I definitely wasn't the same after that. When it came to playing a sport, I just didn't feel the same, because an injury like that will really do that to you. Like, it's very impactful on you mentally and physically. So once I finished out soccer, I went to college, which I would say is where my fitness journey truly begins when it comes to weightlifting. But I wanted to preface by telling you guys that I've always been active, and my body, when I started lifting, looked how it did because I was an athlete. That was my foundation. But that is why, like, when I started my journey, I had a base already because I was extremely active prior. So now we're in the college phase. So I went to Virginia Tech. I was very inspired by, you know, all the people in my recovery process when I got injured, and I knew in my heart that I was made and meant to be in that field. Like, I knew that I wanted to be somewhere in the health field. I didn't really know what, and I, throughout my entire college journey, flip-flopped. I wanted to be a pharmacist, I wanted to be a PT, I wanted to be a personal trainer, I wanted to be a dietitian. Like, I just had so many different paths across my mind that I wanted to explore. My major was human nutrition, food and exercise, which is basically just your classic pre-med track or exercise science track. The reason it's called that is because it really does intermix everything. So we had nutrition courses alongside exercise courses, alongside normal pre-med classes, which I thought was really cool. It was really hard, but I learned so much and gave me a really solid foundation to kind of be a stepping stone to whatever I decided that I wanted to do next. When you enter college, it's just a big lifestyle change. Everything is different. You're living in a dorm, you're eating meals that the campus provides for you, which luckily Tech had the highest campus dining in the country. So that was pretty impressive, I must say. And then obviously you're walking a lot more because you're walking to all your classes, and you're also under a lot more stress because everything is on you now. You do everything for yourself. That first semester, I would go to the gym sometimes, but it wasn't consistent. Like, I didn't have a set schedule or goals. I would just kind of go when I wanted to go and not go when I didn't want to go. At the beginning, I went with my roommate at the time. If you guys haven't gone into a college gym, or even if you have, then you know the feeling of pure intimidation. It is, one, massive, like, it's just a massive gym, and then two, it's jam-packed. Literally, you're gonna touch someone if you spread your arms out. It's that packed. And then obviously it's just overwhelming to be in such a male dominated environment, because gyms just are naturally male dominated. I love to see that that's slowly changing, but at that time it was really intimidating. So typically we would just go to a floor where it was not as busy, or just try to stay out of people's way, go in a corner. I would not take space up in the gym at all. I wouldn't really wait for things. I would rush out of things so other people could use them. I am so used to, when I was playing a sport, having certain days that I'm training and making sure that I'm in shape, and I could feel something was missing, and I was like, I need to commit to fitness in some way again. I need to find a routine and form of exercise that is good for me. So I decided it's time to start taking fitness a little bit more seriously, because you will feel and see changes in your body your freshman year. You just feel like shit because if you're not training and then you're going out every weekend, you just don't feel good. So it kind of took a little bit of time off for me to be like, okay, I need to set a routine in place because this is not going to work for me long term. That mindset shift for me happened at the end of my fall semester of my first year of college, and I went home for winter break, and I dead ass sat down. I know I have it somewhere and I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna clip it in this video, but I sat down and I made a little PDF in Microsoft Word, and it was my spring semester training guide is what I called it. And I made different days, and I wrote the exercises I was gonna do, the rep ranges I was gonna do, all that jazz, which is super cute, and I'm very proud of myself for doing that early on in my journey. I printed it out and I was like, all right, let's get it. I'm gonna be doing this. This was also around the time that COVID hit. So I was kind of training in and out of the gym. I was trying my best to be consistent. Still, again, not necessarily doing the right things for what I wanted to achieve with muscle growth and stuff, but I was doing something and I was proud of that. So I was going to the gym, like starting to get a little bit more comfortable, and then COVID hit, and then we ended up going home, and then gyms at home ended up closing as well for a little bit. Fortunately, my basement, we had a lot of workout equipment that my dad had. My brother was really serious at the time about powerlifting. He kind of made a whole setup in our basement for training, and I was like, okay, I guess I could get down with that. There's literally no one there. It's in my basement and I have nothing else to do because everything is closed. I decided to start training in the basement and sticking to a routine. I kind of did my own thing for a while, and then one day my brother was down there and I was like, you know, I kind of want to learn how to deadlift. Do you think you would show me how? And he was actually really willing to teach and really excited to teach. I always say this even to this day. if I did not have that, I would not have gotten to where I am. I believe that mentorship is extremely important. Having a coach is extremely important, and that's kind of why I've stepped into the role of wanting to be a coach, is because I know the impact that that had for me and how that changed my entire trajectory of my training. I couldn't recommend it more, especially if you don't have someone in your direct life to help you. Don't be afraid to reach out and try to get help, because it'll be the best investment you make. I know for women especially, it's hard to find people willing to teach you and help you. And so if you ever need help with that, I am doing coaching and you guys can apply down below, but that's not the point of this video. After I asked him to do that, we practiced deadlifting. I was absolutely horrible at it. And a lot of it was mental. It was just thinking like, I could never pick that up. I could never do that. Really, your mindset is half the battle, because I could do it and I just didn't think I could. And I kept with it and we slowly started to gain a base. I was getting the form down. We did, you know, even like a max out. Like I have all this on my Instagram. If you guys go all the way down, you'll see the basement gym and you'll see me learning to deadlift. That was where my passion for wanting to get stronger came from, because I realized, oh my gosh, this is so cool. You know, like I never thought I could lift this much weight, one, and two, I never thought that I would ever try this exercise in my life. So I got really excited. I constantly wanted to grow and get stronger, and that's kind of where the shift in my training began. I cared less about growing an ass and getting abs and being a certain physique, and I cared more about, let me try some new things and let me get stronger. And that mindset switch was really a big one for me, and one that I still carry today. Once you kind of get in that phase where you love working out and you're excited about it, it's really easy to stay consistent. But until you get there, it's definitely a lot of discipline. I think for me, it was really nice to be able to start in an environment where I was comfortable. I would go to the gym with my brother all quarantine, and then the next year of school started. So that fall, I would go with my brother at school, because when I was with someone who like clearly knew what they were doing, I was like, okay, no one cares what I'm doing here. My brother ended up graduating that December. And then spring semester, it was time for me to do it on my own. And I was definitely ready. I definitely got prepared, comfortable in the environment, and was ready to start training on my own. And that is when I entered my strong girl PR era. If you guys followed me back then you know I was hitting PRs like every week in the spring. It was crazy, which is something that's so exciting in your fitness journey, because there's a point in your journey where everything is a PR because you've never done it before. And that point in my journey was definitely the most exciting for me. And I was hitting these massive deadlift numbers, which was super cool. And I'm still proud of that to this day. Like that was my favorite era of myself in my journey. And it mattered to me more how much weight I was lifting, my technique, than it did how I looked. And that was a really big shift for me. And also during this time, solely during this time, so starting from the basement gym going on, is when I started to also get more confident in myself and my body, and wear colored clothes and cute activewear and invest in different brands. And it was really a big transformation. And it's not just a transformation physically or strength wise, but it was big for me mentally to be confident enough to do those things. After kind of my peaking phase for deadlift, I did a peaking phase for squat. Also, I used to really neglect squats, and then I took some time to learn the form, get my mobility in check, get my depth in check, and I am very proud of that as well. And then I was super consistent after that, because I was my own accountability. I was just super excited about the gym, but I also have my fitness page, which I forgot to mention throughout this process. So basically, this is actually really funny, because a lot of people ask me how I started my fitness page, and I think I'm gonna do a whole separate video on that if people care and want to see that. But I started my fitness page. I made it a private page. It had 5 followers. It was my closest friends and my boyfriend. I started it because I wanted to have a separate account to follow fitness people. So I made a page and it was called Legs with Schmegs, and I made it private, and I followed all my favorite creators. Literally the first person I followed on the page that I now use was Chrissy Cella. So that's crazy that the first person I followed on that page is now the person that I've met in London last year, and the activewear company that I work with now. It's just full circle craziness to me still to this day. I would follow a lot of influencer workout stuff, and it also was just kind of motivation for me to go to the gym. I stayed private for a long time, but I would post on it sometimes. So I'd post little videos or things that I was doing for like 6 people to see. It was giving private story vibes. Once we hit quarantine, I was still posting on it, again private, and then my brother was just like, you should just make it public. You never know, like just make it public and see what happens. And I was like, I can never do that. Cared too much about what other people thought, and so I put it off for a really long time, because I was like, I don't know how other people are going to receive this. And then I was like, you know what, I really don't care what anyone else thinks, and so I did it. And then that's how I got to this point. So I didn't start a YouTube until my Instagram grew enough to where people said they wanted one. Then moving into my senior year of college, so I graduated in 3 years, so I graduated last May. But in my last year of college, I kind of started to wean off of the strength training and just wanted to be consistent. I think that was the first year where I really started to lose motivation and get into fitness ruts and things like that. That was just due to a lot of things, but a lot of it just being like life related. And then sometimes you're gonna hit ruts in your journey. You're not always gonna hit PRs, and so your motivation and your goals might change a little bit. That is basically the gist of my journey, and now we're kind of at the present. I'm kind of just training catered to my lifestyle and my goals at the moment, and at some point I do want to go through another peaking phase, maybe at the end of this year or mid this year. I've really made fitness my lifestyle and integrated it into my life. I couldn't imagine it not being in my life. I'm very committed to my journey and my goals, and I love what I'm doing, and I think that's the most important part, is kind of finding a routine that you love. And I want to emphasize that just because lifting is what I went to doesn't mean it needs to be what you do. I think the whole point of a fitness journey is that you're doing something that you love and you're interested in. I think it's really important to try everything. Try running, try sports, try dance classes, try Pilates, try everything and see what you like, and you can integrate it all together. It doesn't just have to be lifting. And in my current phase of training, again, it's mostly about consistency and also trying to challenge myself more. So trying new movements, and at some point I want to integrate cardio in a different way and circuit training and just continue to challenge myself in a lot of ways so that I'm never staying stagnant or getting bored. And the last thing I want to touch on in my journey, which I didn't touch on throughout explaining it, but I think is very important to talk about, is the nutrition side of things, because obviously that plays a role, and that's something that a lot of people ask me about as well. I do have a full video on nutrition, calorie counting, supplements, everything, that I'm going to pop on the screen, that I think is a better video for you guys to go to. But in case you don't want to watch that, I never track my calories. I never track my macros during this time. I wasn't restrictive. I genuinely just added fitness into my routine. That worked for me very well, because at the end of the day, I'm just not the kind of person who's going to give up dessert or eating out. I don't think you should have to either. I think that there's balanced and sustainable ways for you to reach your goals without having to cut out things you enjoy. And so that was my take with nutrition. The only things that I would do differently was try to really emphasize eating enough. I was not nearly eating enough at the beginning of my journey to grow, and a big goal of mine was to grow, to get thicker, to grow muscle mass, and I was not eating enough to do that. So that was a big change that I kind of had to make, especially in college when I was cooking and stuff for myself. Like, just being more intentional with eating more was something that I struggled with at the beginning, but then slowly was able to start doing. And then also prioritization of protein was a big thing that I started implementing. Obviously I didn't track every meal that I had and made sure that it was reaching my protein goal, but I did put a lot more focus into getting enough protein in my diet. And then when I wasn't, also supplementing with a protein shake. You don't have to invest in supplements. I think that's something I want to emphasize to you guys. Something I believe was, like, I had to buy protein powder at the beginning. People are pushing creatine. Like, I just want to tell you, you don't have to do all those things. Like, you can look within your diet first and try to make those changes. But if you want to and have the money to invest more in your diet, then I think protein powder and creatine are great things that you could add. That's basically it in terms of nutrition. I didn't make any massive changes, and I know I'm not necessarily the poster person for a good, healthy, balanced diet all the time. I definitely eat my fair share of sweets and Starbies and stuff, but I don't think that's bad. And I think it's important to be honest with you guys about my nutrition, because I want you guys to see something as attainable and achievable, and I want you guys to also realize that balance is extremely important in your journey for it to be long lasting and sustainable. But that is going to close out this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that you guys enjoyed all the throwback videos and stuff of my journey as it progressed, and I'm very happy to be able to share it with you guys. And I'm also very proud and happy to be able to represent my specific body type, because I know there's so many body types in fitness, but I know a lot of you guys are drawn to my channel because of my body type. I'm also proud to represent the Asian community, being half Filipino, and also just kind of help you guys realize that it's okay to grow and want to be bigger and want to be strong, even if it's against a cultural norm. I really like to promote balance in no matter what form of exercise you want to do. I just hope that this channel is helpful for you guys, and I hope that it helps you guys learn something and take something away every single time you watch a video and just get some form of inspiration or motivation. And I'm very thankful for you guys and your support, because it really has changed my life and helped me to step into my purpose. If you guys ever need help with literally anything, I'm a DM away, so feel free to DM me with any questions. I always try to get back to you guys and always will. Also, if you guys feel like you want further support in your journey and just want someone to help guide you through it like I kind of had in my journey, feel free to reach out to me. I'm doing one-on-one coaching. I also do personalized programs, and I'm also going to be working this year on some different guides. I took down my old guides that I used to be selling because I want to make them better now that I have, you know, more knowledge and better just software to make them easier for you guys to follow. So that's definitely something I'm working on this year, is different guides for different goals. Always an option with me. And obviously, hopefully my content is helpful enough for anyone who doesn't want to invest anything. Thank you guys for watching this. Thank you guys for your interest in me and my journey. I never thought this would be something so requested. And definitely subscribe and stay a while and follow me on my Instagram and TikTok for a lot more content. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.